Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Ariel and I'm the owner of Muscadine Ridge Boutique. I just wanted to hop on here and talk to anyone that may be interested in owning or starting their own company. We have technically been in business for 2 years, and as I said, I am the owner, so I started this company from nothing, from no name to now being a fairly successful boutique in our second year and growing into being bigger. If you guys have decided to start a boutique and want to know a little bit more information about it, congratulations. That is an awesome step, and I am really, really happy for you. I think we need more small businesses to help our economy, and I am 100% supportive of anyone that chooses to go the more entrepreneurial route. So, hey, fellow entrepreneur. A little bit about how to get started with a boutique that I think is really, really important. You need to come up with, and I apologize if I keep looking down here, it's because I have notes. But the most important thing is to come up with a name that you think is going to match your brand. Also a name that hasn't been taken, and also a name that you think is going to be memorable. You don't want to be a company where you have amazing products, everyone loves you, but no one can remember your name. I kind of made a mistake with that. Our name is Muscadine Ridge, and it can be a mouthful. And a lot of people will read the text and be like, Muscadine? Like they don't know. So there's a little bit of a story behind our name, which I think helps. But if I could do it over again, I would definitely pick an easier name. Something that rolls off the tongue a lot quicker. Besides that, so when you figure out your name, you can actually go and look and see if it's been trademarked. Also go on your social media accounts, make sure that name hasn't been already used. Some of your more generic names, they may not have an official LLC, but they will be used on social media. So the moment you figure out what your name's going to be, go ahead and reserve that name on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, and so forth. And make sure that that's your name, because the last thing you want to do is have your social medias have different names, and it's going to be harder to convert your customers. So that's number one. And for me, that took a long time. So don't rush on that, because once you're branded a certain way, that's kind of what you're going to be known for. And rebranding can definitely affect your growth in the company, for sure. The second thing that you're going to need to do after you do that is you're going to apply for a license. If you do go the boutique route, you're going to apply for what there's called it's called a reseller's license. And a reseller's license basically means that you are actually allowed to go to wholesalers, buy products where you haven't been taxed on, and then resell that products to the general public. And that's really important to know. Because, and that's the next thing, side note, definite professional tip, I guess you could say, make sure you're charging sales tax. If you aren't doing it, if you're doing it on your own, if you're not, you're going to want to go through like Shopify or something. They're going to find the location in which your business is in, and they'll be able to charge your state and local sales tax. If not, you will be screwed at the end of the year. So don't forget, charge your sales tax, okay? But that's going to help you with buying your inventory, and any wholesaler you go to is going to want that information, and they won't even sell to you. They won't even talk to you. You won't be able to get into any trade shows, nada. So you're going to apply for that. Now it's going to be a reseller's license. For some states, you're going to have to do your research. Some of it is just going to be called a tax ID number, which is your EIN number. Okay. And that's what they're going to do to track at the end of the year, how much you've spent, how much you haven't spent, and how much you owe. So keep those things in mind. Understand? The next thing that you're going to do once you get that all set up is you're going to want to figure out and in doing so, let me just go ahead and make this aware. These are the steps to get a business going, but you really need to do a lot of prep prior. So just to kind of sidetrack back to the prep prior, you're going to want to come up with a business plan. You're going to want to think about who is your ideal customer and what would they buy? And then that's also going to help you with the name of your brand. You don't want something like super, super trendy and woke when you're selling conservative grandma clothes, you know? So think about who your customer is, what your brand's going to be, how you would potentially style a brick and mortar if you get and go that route, right? And that's going to help you to decide what kind of inventory you put into your store, and also what price point you're going to put it at. All of these things are really, really important. So think about that. Pretend that you're a customer walking into a store. What would you like to see? See what you think a market might be missing, and market towards that. Because all these things that you're doing are kind of doing the heavy lifting to them when you go the detail route of marketing, right? What hashtags are you going to use? All of these things come into play. And the last thing you want to do is not be cohesive and not have a cohesive brand. So there's that as well. And then back to once you get your EIN number and your wholesaler's number, you're going to want to figure out what platform you want to sell on. You can either sell in person, like what we have been doing, which is through pop-up shops, right? Or you want to sell online, and that could be through social media, like Instagram is really big. And you could do it, online through social medias. You could do it online through a standalone website. You could do it through brick and mortar. You're going to need to figure out how you plan on selling to your customers and how you plan on getting in front of your customers. And that's also going to help you determine the most important step. And I say this because it will be your saving grace. Marketing. Okay. I don't know how many times I have to say it, and it doesn't matter what way you plan on selling. Even if you go brick and mortar route and you're like, oh, I don't need a market, they'll just come into my store. You're wrong. You're still going to do marketing. You're still going to do handing out flyers and getting your customers, because you want that repeat customer basis. So that's going to be your next step, is figuring out your marketing strategy and how you plan on approaching your customers, and figuring out how they're going to figure out who you are, what you do, what you're selling. And that comes through marketing, and that's how you get in front of a different audience. All of this stuff comes into play, but that is a good start for you to start a company. After that, the next video that I hope to post next week or so is really going to get into how to scale your company and how to make those sales, and how to make your first 10 sales, your first 20 sales, and get those repeat customers. So I know this was kind of long, and I know this kind of may seem a little redundant, but the takeaway that you need to know is, one, making sure that you get a good name, a strong name. Then you're going to apply for your business license, okay? And you'll do that through the state. So for us, Muscadine Ridge is based out of Georgia. So we go to, and I'll show you this really quick, Georgia Commissioner's Office. Let's see. And then you can also look up like your state and how to apply for your register's license. It's really easy. It's usually like $150 for your business license. And don't go through another company. Just go to your Department of Revenue and then go do it yourself, because another company will help you apply for an LLC, but they'll charge you more. So just go to your state page, look for applying for a business license, and then so forth. After that, you're going to get what is called an EIN number, or you're going to apply for a reseller's license, depending on your state, and you need to do the research as to what you need. After you get that, you're going to need to figure out what your brand is. And that should be something you really know prior to even starting your company. But this is going to be the time where you figure out what your brand is. And then you're going to start looking into what wholesalers you want to buy through. I'll link a couple wholesalers that I use. Being in Atlanta, we are really, really blessed with America's Mark, which is huge. And they have a bunch of different events all throughout the country. So look them up as well. And Fashion Go is also a saving grace. Truthfully, because I don't have a lot of time and I am a full-time bartender, most of the time I buy my inventory through Fashion Go. But if you can, and you have the time, it is really important. Go to your events. your America's Mart, and so forth, because that is a great way to meet your reps for the wholesalers. That is a great way to see the quality of the inventory you want. And it's also a great way to make connections with other small businesses in which you may be able to take advantage of and talk and collab with later on. But yeah, that's a good way to get started. I hope you guys take all this into account, and this is motivating, and I can't wait to meet y'all. All right. Happy Friday.